Hi guys, I'm Adam Wilborn from WhatCulture.
And I'm Andy Murray from WhatCulture. And are the Wednesday Night Wars about to come to an end? I'm going to tell you everything you need to know about NXT potentially moving away from Wednesday nights. And on top of that, we're going to talk the AEW All Out card, which got 2 new matches on last night's Go Home Dynamite.
Plus, NXT won the Tuesday Night Wars, and a former WWE superstar popped up on AEW Dynamite last night. This is the news.
So let's kick things off by talking about the potential end of the Wednesday Night Wars then. We have a tweet from WrestleVotes last night saying the following. Over the past month or so, discussions have transpired regarding NXT moving off Wednesday nights. No decision imminent, however, talks are ongoing. The numbers over the next 2 weeks might have some impact on the decision. Of course, NXT aired this Tuesday and they air next Tuesday as well. Fightful Select have come through with a report with some new details on it, stating the USA Network actually pitched this months ago. While the network and WWE enjoy a healthy and trusting relationship, USA officials don't like the competitive aspect of it. They don't like that they're going head-to-head with another show because it takes away their viewers. It results in worse ratings for both shows, really, in the 18 to 49 demographic and as well in terms of overall viewership. It hurts their numbers, and WWE are reportedly open to the idea here as well. Now, nothing has been set in stone. Nobody has been informed of any changes yet. However, like, WrestleVotes tweeted initially, how well the Super Tuesday specials do could well influence this, and I see Adam Wilborn sitting there chomping at the bit.
Yeah, well, I'm glad you mentioned all this because NXT did another great ratings number as part of this Super Tuesday thing that they suddenly decided to do and keep doing, apparently, according to next week. An increase in the 18 to 49 demographic, increase in overall viewership. They went from a 0.24 to a 0.26 rating, 10th for the night amongst cable shows, and a 3% increase to 849,000 viewers over 2 hours. That means the last 3 weeks, which have all, of course, been unopposed, some of which have been on Tuesday for NXT, some of which have been on Wednesday with Dynamite moving all over the place, Thursday, Wednesday, Saturday, of course. They've crossed over the 800,000 mark. So, yeah, all the figures would point to the fact that for both shows, AEW and NXT, it just makes sense to be on different nights. And look, we know why NXT even went to TV in the first place. It was to counter-program against AEW, and to a certain extent, I suppose it's worked, but at the end of the day, you can clearly see it's not really the same pool of fans that are choosing between AEW and NXT. There are just sort of devout groups that will watch one show, and maybe 100,000, give or take, that sort of flick between the two, but not a great deal of difference. AEW slightly more viewed, of course, and one that can seemingly grab more casual viewers or more lapsed viewers. But yeah, I completely agree with what you said, Andy. Like, if I'm a TV network, you're going, right, I get it, you're trying to counter-program against your opposition, but when you don't do that, we get an extra 100,000 viewers straight away, so why even bother?
Yeah, I mean, I don't really see the argument for NXT continuing on Wednesday nights after looking at these numbers. These are tremendous viewerships. Like, the second highest viewership of the year, the highest demo number since December 2019. I mean, what's the argument for sticking around on Wednesdays? You get beat in the most important metric every week, the 18 to 49. You get trounced. It's barely even a competition these days. You have the odd, viewership win here and there, but what does that really matter? Not much at all. Now, there are, I guess the counter arguments would be, well, Impact Wrestling is on Tuesday night. How's that going to affect NXT? Well, the answer to that is not much, because Impact Wrestling drew an average of 150,000 viewers in July.
They had a world title change on Tuesday night and still got destroyed. So.
Right, that's not really a competition. DVR viewers, well, if you air head-to-head, it doesn't matter because people who want to watch the show will do it on DVR. Well, DVR is much less lucrative to advertisers than live TV because people who are watching on DVR have a fast-forward button. I'm not sitting there watching a commercial for, Jimmy John's, that's a thing in America. I'm not sitting through that when I've got a fast forward button and I'm watching on DVR. That's just a little example. I think, Brian Alvarez tweeted this last night. For the betterment of the wrestling industry as a whole, it is within everyone's best interests for NXT to just move, man. I mean, look, there's no shame in losing the war, or however you want to frame it. There's no shame in that whatsoever. Just switch over to the other show. And I think that if NXT did this as well, their programming would improve as well.
Yeah.
Because then they're not going to be sitting there going, oh, well, we have to throw away this big title match and this change and this, that, and the next thing. They don't have to hotshot 2 cage matches in one night and crazy gimmick matches. They can save those for TakeOver because they're focused on themselves and not focused on the opposition. Triple H said the other week that, hey, we only care about ourselves. Nonsense, mate. Look at the way the booking patterns have changed. Look at that Reddit thread that emerged the other day that you pointed out to me actually on the call with all those numbers of title changes and wacky gimmick matches since the competition became a thing. Man, I just think it would be better as a whole. You know, as someone who follows the wrestling industry professionally, I want to see the industry doing better across every single brand. I want to see every show doing better numbers and sparking enthusiasm, and I believe a change would do that.
Yeah, just to very quickly talk about this, I think I saw a tweet saying there was 7 world title matches in this year compared to 1 or 2 last year. That's exactly what Andy's saying there about them having to hotshot title matches to try and draw viewership. I don't see it necessarily. Yes, people will say, obviously, for understandable reasons on Twitter and the trolls and stuff, say, oh, they've lost the Wednesday Night War. I mean, it's more of a retreat than a direct loss, I suppose, is the best way to put it. Yes, you are surrendering Wednesday nights to AEW, but you're also doing far better on Tuesday nights, as Andy said. Plus, how good would it be as wrestling fans? Monday night, Raw. Tuesday night, NXT and Impact. Wednesday night, Dynamite. Thursday night, a night off. By God, we'd need it by then. SmackDown, and then, potential pay-per-views over the weekend, of course. It is a really exciting time. I think it's the best thing to do. And I don't want to take credit for it, but I'm just saying that the day we release our interview that Andy secured for us and that I did, and it's up on the channel right now with MJF, NXT goes, you know what? I think that's us done. You're welcome, AEW.
The interview of the year, for sure. Love the Max. Shame our boy Mark Sterling, my personal lawyer as well, couldn't come through on last night's Dynamite.
Great
I'm
outfit,
sure he
though.
will. A great outfit, absolutely. He had the Jim Cornette, the old Jim Cornette get-up. Let's quickly run through the new additions to the All Out card. This is, of course, this Saturday night. The 2 new additions to the card as of last night's show are the Young Bucks versus Jurassic Express. This came from an 8-man tag stipulating that the winning team would face off each other against the pay-per-view, and these guys beat SoCal Uncensored and Private Party. We're also getting Britt Baker versus Big Swole in what is being dubbed as a tooth and nail match. I have no idea what the hell that is, but it came via ambush on Big Swole last night. Big Swole got her face thrown into a pizza. It was kind of silly, but it's going down. All Out, of course, will be headlined by John Moxley. Sorry, Dictator John. Mm-hmm. I'm sorry, Max. Close personal friend of the channel now, of course. Didn't abuse Adam too bad. Went easy on him by all accounts. Dictator John defends the AEW World Championship against MJF. We got the Mimosa Mayhem match, Chris Jericho and Orange Cassidy, a bunch of other stuff. Hikaru Shida, women's title defending against Thunder Rosa. It's a cool card.
FTR, Hangman Page, Kenny Omega is the big match on that card for everyone. I think it's so fascinating, so well built. Deft, some might say. Michael Sidgwick, hope you're having a great holiday, mate. Did you notice what happened last night? I saw people putting this out on Twitter as well. See what happened? Young Bucks went down the heel tunnel.
Oh,
just putting
nice
it out
touch.
there.
Nice
and I'm slightly annoyed that they've put the Britt Baker Big Swole match on the buy-in. I felt like that merited being on the proper card, but some matches have got to go on there. And yeah, so excited for that Hikaru Shida Thunder Rosa match. Speaking of which, last night saw Thunder Rosa in a match on Dynamite against former WWE superstar Serena Deeb. Yes, she of the Straight Edge Society, shaving her head, all that. Remember that years ago? Serena Deeb, only 34. Andy and I could not believe that this morning. But she was in a fantastic match against Thunder Rosa last night. Go and check it out. She, of course, left WWE as part of the mass cuts mid-April. She had returned during the Mae Young Classic in 2017. She was working backstage from February 2018. I thought she served herself brilliantly. For God's sake, AEW, sign both of these women immediately.
Yeah, I mean, it's become almost like a reductive and almost a lazy take for like solutions to the AEW women's division and the perceived problems there to be just like, hey, go to the indies, there's loads of people there. As if there's kind of like this unending talent pool that's just waiting for people to be plugged. But there are talented people out there, and Thunder Rosa and Serena Deeb are 2 of the most talented. And It's crazy that Serena Deeb is like still so great because she's barely wrestled over the past few years. She's been working as a trainer for WWE prior to her release, but she's still really, really good. She's been in the game for 15 years, but she's still young. That's a potentially big asset to your roster. Thunder Rosa, don't know what the NWA contractual situation is, but she's been great for ages. Sign them up, Tony. Sign them up.
Do it. Right, let's move on to your Twitter questions at WhatCulture WWE. Of course, if you want to get in touch with us today. Ron17 asks, do you predict that Cody will return at All Out, or will they hold off on his return even longer till, say, Revolution?
I think they'll hold off a while. I think that one thing AEW has been quite good at so far is delaying gratification to build anticipation for that big moment where the thing finally happens and you go, oh yeah. That's why we haven't seen someone like Darby Allin pin Cody yet. They're waiting for it. They're being patient. They're booking things the way wrestling used to be booked. And I believe that it'll be a while longer before we see Cody. I believe Cody, to give you a boring answer, I believe Cody's also doing some acting stuff at the moment as well. So that'll hold it up too.
Second question, I completely agree, by the way. Second question today comes from Adam Smith, who says, congrats on the iconic MJF interview. Thank you very much, Adam. Yeah, if you want to go and check that out, it's on our YouTube channel now. Or if you're out and about today, you can listen to it as a podcast. He talks about Dictator John. He talks about being compared to The Rock and Randy Orton. And he talks about who he'd love to see in AEW as well. And will he let me join his entourage? You probably know the answer, but... yeah, you want to see what he says in response to that. Anyway, Adam says, in light of landing such a stonking guest, great word, to grill on all things wrestling, I'm interested to know which wrestler, past or present, you guys would choose to interview if you could pick anyone.
Oh, mate, that's it's a really great question, and I always give a default answer to things like this, and it's a boring answer. I'm very sorry. A lot of people will give you this answer, but it's Ric Flair. Who has more stories than Ric Flair? Who could possibly have such a depth of experience and knowledge and history to pluck little bits and pieces of knowledge from? I think it would be an experience. I think it'd be a riot and just a fun time.
Yeah, my answer's going to remain the same until this one happens. It is, of course, The Rock. He is my favourite wrestler of all time. With most people that I interview, they become my best friend. I'd love for Dwayne to be my best friend.
Dwayne.
So yeah, it'd have to be him. But let us know which other interviews you'd like to see from us, and we'll try and make it happen.
We'll give it a go.
Fingers crossed. But
don't ask for like anyone silly though, because we're not getting Vince McMahon. All right. Probably not. Who knows? Sky's the limit, pal.
Exactly. Let us know here on Twitter. Maybe they'll respond if they see themselves getting tagged enough in all of that. And if you're wondering about the stories about The Rock that you've been maybe hearing on social media, the boys, Adam and Adam, Nicholas and Cleary, will be reporting on that later on today. Final question today comes from Eleanor Talk to Seth and Sasha on Twitter, who says, when do you see WWE actually pulling the trigger on the breakup of Sasha and Bayley? And do you see them facing each other at Clash of Champions?
Every time I predict this, I get it wildly wrong. I do think, though, given WWE's recent booking patterns, I think they'll hold off on it a little bit longer. I feel like maybe Clash of Champions, with all due respect to that pay-per-view, it's a B-level pay-per-view. I think that you probably want that first singles match between the two, or that first big explosion between the two, to take place on a bigger show. And I know Survivor Series has traditionally been about brand warfare, pal, and all this stuff, but... I think that would be a cool place to do it. If not then, the Royal Rumble, WrestleMania. I've given crap answers to all these questions. I'm very sorry. But the short answer to this is, like I say, every time I guess it, I get it wrong. So here we go.
I think you'd love to see the feud eventually, finalised at WrestleMania, but it is a long way off. And they've run through quite a lot recently. Sasha dropping the belt, them losing the tag belts. I don't see them facing off at Clash of Champions, but... yeah, maybe Survivor Series. Maybe it could be the headline match at Survivor Series. I've said whenever it happens, it should headline. And I don't buy all the brand warfare bollocks usually. So just have a really well-built feud that's gone on for, the majority of this year in terms of plotting this story. So that's what I'd have. Anyway, let's move on to today's And Finally. And I'm like a kid in a candy store. I'm so excited because there is a new movie coming out from WWE Studios, Andy. Have you seen the trailer for this?
I have, man. What a riot this thing looks like.
It is WWE Studios. They have partnered with Paramount Animation to make this new movie. It's called Rumble. It is basically the story of a monster who tries to become a wrestler. And check out this cast that it's got. The big headline news is Chris Eubank, former boxer, British boxing legend, is going to be a part of it. But look at the list of names involved in this. Along with Chris Eubank, you've got Charles Barkley, you've got Will Arnett, Terry Crews, Becky Lynch, Roman Reigns, Stephen A. Smith, Ben Schwartz, Michael Buffer. I assume this is probably aimed more at a slightly younger audience, but whether you're a wrestling fan or you're a parent with kids, this is coming out, I think, in February. Yeah, it's coming out in February next year. I can't wait for this already.
Where else are you going to get a cast that includes Stephen A. Smith, Becky Lynch, and Chris Eubank? I mean, if that doesn't sell you on this, I don't know what will.
Yeah, exactly. Go and check out the trailer right now. It's called Rumble, the new movie from WWE Studios and Paramount Pictures. Chris Eubank. Oh, I'm so excited. Right, let us know your thoughts on that and all today's news stories in the comments section below. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And subscribe to WhatCulture Wrestling on either iTunes, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts from for daily wrestling podcasts. Myself and Michael Hamfler doing the, Wednesday Night War today. My head is all over the place with wrestling this week, talking about everything that happened on AEW Dynamite and doing a little preview ahead of All Out this weekend. Plus, you can let us know your thoughts and Twitter questions and who you want us to interview on Twitter at WhatCultureWWE. Watch there, follow both of us. You can follow Andy Murray at
Andy H. Murray. The H stands for Harry Kane. He's crap now.
And if you understand that reference, as always, subscribe to What Culture Football for loads of daily football content. Follow me at Adam Wilborn. Follow us all at WhatCultureWWE. But for now, my thanks to Andy Murray. Thank you for joining us, and we will see you soon.